So the emerging graphic design technologies and trends on a global level at the moment transcend so many different levels than ever before. We find ourselves have to be sustainable for the future. All the rewords, repurpose, reclaim, using your hands, going back to the earth as well. Then that comes into technology, which is all about then using your hand, using touch, feeling those kind of things. So I think there's never been more access to these things than through Tumblr, Pinterest, social media sites, which brings everything together. You can see like food trends, you can see architecture trends, you can see design trends. In print, I believe there are new aesthetics, using recycled papers, going back to letterpress style, hand-done feels of printing, so it won't completely die, but it will change the way that it is perceived, and it has to by going back to analog techniques and technologies, but using modern day techniques and technologies together. So the whole touch phenomenon of being on iPads, iPhones, I believe in the future will be very, very important. As a graphic designer now, we don't really design on a tablet, we don't really use an iPad for those sort of things. But I believe that through hands and motion and on a larger scale through technology that's already in production, we will see ourselves being more dragging things and using paint buckets and using things with our hands that are 100% completely digital, which is just a total revolution. So your intellectual property and copyright issues as a graphic designer are very, very simple, but they're also quite broad. So you create something, it is yours. You can go to the extent of applying for trademarks, applying for copyrights, things like this, but that only applies, say, on an Australian level. Then you have to go international. Depends how far you really want to take it. Also, when applying for jobs with a prospective client or employer or doing work for somebody, just make sure it is black and white. Who owns the copyright in the imagery? You created it, yeah, but did they pay you? Did they pay you for the whole thing? Do they in turn own the copyright to use it again? Do they own it only for 1 year? These are things that you have to make very, very black and white. You can find yourself in a lot of trouble where in turn you lose out, or you could use it in the wrong way against the employer. If you put your work on the internet, say in your folio or something, it is out there. You have to understand that it is in the broader world of the World Wide Web. People can take your image and use it. You have to be prepared that you might get ripped off. Ripped off being, hey, someone can use it for their assignment, or someone can put it on a t-shirt, things. So it's up to you then to chase that up. It can get very messy, or it can be, nipped in the bud quite quickly, depends on what you want. But as I said, you put your work out there, be prepared that, yeah, it is accessible. So the more you create your own imagery and take your own photos for inspiration, you can use them in your own prints. Say, if I was going to make a t-shirt, I wouldn't just get onto Google Images, pull down a picture of, say, Jimi Hendrix and put it on a t-shirt. There can be so many implications with that. Depending on how far you take that, and if you sell it or anything like that, you can get into a lot of trouble. So I believe that, take your own textures, take your own landscapes, hire your own models and friends and people, which in turn you shoot the image, you own the copyright, dress them up as Jimi Hendrix, put a wig on him, give him a guitar, whatever it is. You might get... For inference, you might get in trouble, but it is your image. You have way more legs to stand on if you do get pulled up about, say, such images. So yeah, build your own library, keep working hard at it. Everyone's pretty much got a smartphone now. I'm constantly shooting imagery. I have at any one time probably 3 different cameras on me. So you can take your own, and if you go out on a specific mission to get your own images, then that's awesome. Keep folders, make TIFFs out of them, make documents out of them, and you will be ahead at all times because you've made your own image.